Mateus Guimaraes, great to see you here at the Evolve 26 conference. You've just done your keynote. Tell us a bit what you were talking about and why you're here today.
Well, I talked about Agentic Microservices, which is something that's been playing on my mind because I did a podcast interview not too long ago, and they asked me, how is this whole AI thing impacting microservices architecture? And I was like, I never actually thought about it so deeply. So I stopped for the past 2 or 3 months and started exploring and came up with all kinds of patterns that some of them are kind of falling into place as a kind of general conscious, but nobody's naming them or bringing them to light or really starting to think about them. So that's what the talk was about. It's just my own brainstorming of how I think these agentic architecture patterns are, when brought into the microservices architecture, are evolving that architecture or just impacting and bringing new possibilities to the back end, modern back end.
Modern back end.
Modern of the modern back end. What is a modern back end? We always at the modern stage, right? Yeah.
So tell us, how did you come to be involved in Evolve?
Involved in Evolve, that's a tongue twister, right?
I know, I had to think about that before I said it.
So if I remember well, it was only last year that I talked, well, actually no, it was through the AWS User Group Brighton. So AWS, it has many different communities of which we support. We don't run them. It's all run by community, by the love of community for the community. One of them is the AWS User Group Brighton, which I believe you're kind of familiar with.
I'm pretty heavily involved in that one, yeah.
Because you are one of the founders and leaders of it. So I went to do a talk at your community, the AWS User Group Brighton, and one of the organizers was there because you guys work closely together. And then we started talking about this exciting event that they wanted to put on. And last year, unfortunately, I had to send my team here because I had a keynote in another conference on the same day. It wasn't even in the UK, so I really couldn't be here. But internally, they told me all about it. There were pictures. It was buzzing. They said it was so good that I had to be here this time. So I talked to the organizers again, and here we are.
So what do you think about what the community has pulled off? Because this is really kind of a community-spawned event.
This is beyond pulling off. Honestly, like when I saw them presenting there and they were talking about we're taking the whole Brighton Center thing and they're like 2 levels, over there is this, over there. That's crazy. I was like, this is like Brighton Summit. It's not even like, that is an amazing space. As I got in, I already saw the video games and stuff. I was like, this is a proper like big community event. And I love seeing stuff that goes from conception to execution, taking those small steps, not being afraid of being ambitious, and then delivering something like this. Because kind of like what Grace said on stage, people show up. If you rely on people sticking together as a community, you find that community in an organically authentic way, people will show up. And then more people will show up, And this is what you get.
Yeah.
So it's incredible. It really is incredible.
There's so many volunteers here, helping to run this event today, just because they want to be involved. And that's, that's what community is all about. We're not doing it because we get paid to do it. We're doing it because we enjoy it. We're passionate about a particular subject matter, whether it's AWS or some other aspect of IT, whether it's AI, etc. Let's talk a little bit about AI, because you mentioned agentic backends, etc. There's a lot of students here at this event today, studying computer science, etc. Computer science, I think, is possibly one of the most unemployed graduates coming out of universities these days. Lots of talk about AI taking everyone's jobs. What's your perspective on that?
It's pretty simple. AI, I don't think it's taking anybody's jobs. It's changing tasks, not jobs. Well, changing jobs, yes, because it fundamentally changes tasks. Is that something new? Absolutely not. 1981, the IBM PC came along and changed the way we did things at home. And in the offices, changed the tasks, automated some tasks. Sure, made some jobs deprecated. Where are the typewriter typists? They became digital typists. But it also created 1,000 other jobs, right? And there's an evolution of those tasks and those jobs. And that's just being the role of technology, because that's what technology is. That is the fabric and the nature of a field, is to disrupt and to move things forward for our benefit as humans, right? Then you had the internet, completely changed things again, right? And at the beginning, everybody was afraid of it as well. It was like, oh, what's gonna happen with shopping, online shopping? Well, stores very much still exist, but online shopping is huge, for sure. So AI and whatever agentic architecture makes its way, whether it's in the coding field, whether it's in powering applications, whether it's in exploring a different planet, it has its place, but it doesn't mean that other things don't, because every digital transformation comes with the umbrella of things you have to look at. Security, CI/CD, even if you're going to get a specific, how do these things work? Testing. So everything still applies, transferable skills, but it's just on with different patterns, and they all play together to come to something. But yes, the era of coding line by line, I believe is over. It is over, and that's fine, because we're about to go to Mars. We're about to explore different planets. This new generation of developers, how are they gonna tackle these bigger problems? By going, if, else, not gonna happen. So I think technology moves at the exact pace that it should evolve, which is when we need to tackle bigger, more complex things. So all these things now need to go to an abstraction higher. They need to be simple, so we can now deal with that. If it wasn't for AI and big data, even before AI, we wouldn't be able to tackle those problems. We wouldn't be able to move forward as humanity, and that's all AI is here to do.
So taking it back to those students who are currently studying at university or maybe have just graduated, what's the one piece of advice that you would give them about where they should be focusing their effort towards their career? I
do a lot of career guidance and motivation speaking as well, outside just the technical speaking. And I've been touring around universities in the UK actually, and I told them just in one recent one that I did, where was it? I don't know, Edinburgh, I can't remember. Developers, in my view, are becoming architects, right? Before my generation, my dinosaur, so been doing this for 25 years. So for me, it was like, developer, junior developer, then, middleweight developer, they could never find a term for that. And then senior developer, lead developer, tech lead, architect, I find an architect. And then, chief architect, CTO, tech co-founder, wherever you want to go, right? I've done all these things and everything else in between. But I think the shift now is more the starting point. This whole developer stuff, which was more focused on coding and programming, I think that much is shifting to directly architect. So I think developers are becoming architect. Does that mean they don't need to know code? No, you need to know code. Because much like when you read an English document, you need to know English, otherwise you can't understand it, you can't contribute, you can't direct it, you can critique it, you cannot make it do better. You need to understand code. But you don't need to actually be doing it yourself, right? You can let the AI generate that. As long as you have the architectural knowledge, you understand the parts, you understand the system inside out, and then you can direct it to go, no, not this, that. Because I know that in the future, the business is gonna need this. The AI doesn't know about your business, you do. Or your business technical direction, you do, right? So I think, for example, the application that I developed for my demo, for my talk, I use Kiro, AWS Kiro, which is our agentic IDE, to build it. But ask me anything about the application, I know it inside out. I can tell you, which is how I show my demo. Anybody who had a question, I know exactly how the microservice is hooked to the other one, to the agentic client, because I know how to recode, I know architecture, and I take my time to learn it. And then steer the AI to build better things.
AI still makes mistakes, right? So you need to be able to spot those mistakes.
Of course it does. But humans make mistakes. I always had to spot the mistakes of my development teams when I had development teams before being a developer advocate. So it's nothing different. What's different really, it's the main different things is two, pace and volume. That's it. And for both of those, you have to find a strategy. The thing is, before it will be more reliant on the senior people like us to put that strategy in place. How are we going to deal with volume? Oh, we need to think of new ways of testing. How do we evolve testing? Oh, okay, maybe property-based testing, whatever. You start finding new ways of coping with that volume. Whereas now I think the developers, talking to the students and early career adopters, you also have to learn these things, which is architecture, ultimately, architecture and strategy. But you need to start learning these things from early on, because that's going to be expected of you, to have that sense of direction, that sense of holistic understanding of what the system is about, not just the code. How does it run? Is it AWS Lambda? Is it ECS? Is it containers? Is it not containers? Is it Kubernetes? Why is it Kubernetes? Can the agent orchestrate all this? Can you use auto mode? Whatever, right? You need to understand the options, put them together in a cost-effective way for the business, because ultimately, customers only care about the product they're using. They don't care about the code. And much like the business don't care about the code, they care about how much it's costing them and how much money they're making. And that's the new developer.
The Renaissance developer.
The Renaissance developer.
So,
if I shall quote, one of my idols, Dr. Werner Vogels. Yes.
So there we go. If you're a student, become a Renaissance developer.
Yeah, become a Renaissance.
Google it. Find out what it is.
Google it.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Thanks, Mateus. Really
Thank you. Thank you. Brilliant being here. Thanks so much for having me, as usual.